Hello, welcome to the instruction video for Module 3 of this course. Today I've decided to bring you down to the psychology lab as we start to look at some of the important concepts from Chapter 2 of this social psychology course. Before we do that though, I want to remind you that we will be completing the usual assignments for Module 3. You should be reading your chapter from the OER. Remember, you have access to that in the course Canvas. You will also be completing your video response for this module. You will be completing your discussion post and responding to 2 peers. You will also be taking your Module 3 quiz. Be sure to take note of those assignments in Canvas so that you can meet the due dates. Now back to my presentation of the psychology lab here on campus. Behind me, you can see all sorts of different contraptions and apparatus that we've used in psychology through the decades. Now, in your chapter, we finished the previous chapter by looking at the scientific method and understanding how it is that we want to collect information objectively in this field so that we can replicate it and use it to make generalizations about what's going on in social interaction beyond whatever experiment we're looking at. We also see in this chapter that there is a long discussion about learning theory. I wanted to tell you that learning theory is really important in psychology because it really shifted the field to looking at a more objective way of understanding affect, behavior, and cognition in both animals and humans. And as a matter of fact, in this lab, we conducted animal research and training all the way up until about the 90s. We don't have any live animals anymore because we're able to use models and video simulations to show the same types of patterns and results that we see when we're working with live animals. Behind me, there is plenty of machinery that was used by the behaviorists. And the behaviorists were saying to us that a behavior would either increase or decrease based on the response to that behavior. So if we were to punish behavior, it's more likely to decrease. If we are reinforcing or rewarding behavior, it's more likely to increase. This is what the behaviorists in the field of psychology gave us through the 50s and the 60s. And then we started to see a shift where psychologists wanted to capitalize on the unique way that humans learn. This in some ways is similar to the ways that other primates learn. And this really introduced us to this newer area of psychology called social learning theory. What social learning theory says is that we do adjust our behavior and our social interactions, our emotions, our thinking based on reinforcements and punishments. But we can also learn by directly watching other people. The original work was focused on videos and exposing children to aggression to see what their aggression looked like later. This is the work of Albert Bandura. Now, most people readily accept the idea that you can use things like this YouTube video to learn new things. You don't need to be rewarded or punished for watching it. You can still learn from it. So it's really important for us to integrate classical learning theory into the social implications that we see in everyday interactions. This will come back at us later when we're starting to look at really interesting social psychology research around helping behavior, around aggression, and around obedience. Okay, I will see you back in the next instructional module.